Hello everyone, welcome back to the continued reading of the puzzle, A Gift from Spirit with Kelly Allen. And today I'm going to be reading the chapter that I wrote titled Synchronicity and the Law of Attraction. And as always, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and start with a couple of quotes. I am open to the guidance of synchronicity and do not let expectations hinder my path. Dalai Lama. According to Vedanta, there are only two symptoms of enlightenment, just two indications that a transformation is taking place within you toward a higher consciousness. The first symptom is that you stop worrying. Things don't bother you anymore. You become lighthearted and full of joy. The second symptom is that you encounter more and more meaningful coincidences in your life, more and more synchronicities. And this accelerates to the point where you actually experience the miraculous. Deepak Chopra. Synchronicity and the law of attraction. The law of attraction dictates that whatever you put your attention on will manifest. I've encountered individuals who believe the law of attraction, when put to the test, did not operate successfully for them. I believe they were not understanding and applying the principles correctly. Although they claimed to be focusing their attention on what it was they desired, they may have been focusing their attention on their lack of what they desired. An example of this would be in the case of those who were buying into the illusion of poverty or lack of abundance. In the case of those appearing to enjoy abundance and seeking more, they may have been focused on the discomfort and restlessness that comes with the attachment to their material possessions while petitioning for more of them. In failure to enjoy and feel gratitude for their blessings, the ones already in their lives, they inadvertently block and flow the arrival of more. Having said this, I'd like to share my personal experience with the law of attraction and with having the universe provide for me. Early in our years of living together, my significant other, Lee, who later became my husband, and I had both grown weary of apartment living and strongly desired to own a house. We wanted a home we could call our own, and we also wanted a place we could share with family and friends. In discussing our ideal place, we began prioritizing our criteria for the home that we desired. We decided upon a Spanish Mediterranean-style home with at least 3 bedrooms. Ideally, we wanted to find a place that would have enough room for a master bedroom, a guest room, a gym, and a library or office. We wanted a yard big enough for entertaining, but not so big that it would require too much maintenance. We also wanted a 2-car garage. We were trying our best to be honest with what we desired, but realistic at the same time. We spent several months dreaming and looking at homes for sale that were out of our current price range at the time. After months of discussing at great length how awesome it would be to have the house, we finally decided to find a picture of a home as close to what we desired as possible. We put the picture on the fridge so that we could see it often. We decided we would put it out to the universe and trust and release it. Our intention was to no longer discuss the want of it and let faith bring it to us. Of course, for the next week, we had several short discussions inspired by the picture as to how excited we were about the house and what we planned to do with it. By the end of the week, in which the picture was posted on the fridge, we received a call from a friend. She informed us that her brother and his family were moving out of state and that they wanted to sell their house. They were willing to carry the loan for the house for 5 years with very little money down. Can you guess the description of the house? It was actually a 5-bedroom house, Spanish Mediterranean, and it not only met, but it exceeded our wish list. This was only one of many such manifesting experiences we experienced. This was only one of many such manifesting experiences for us. Approximately 9 years ago, I was in a place in my life in which I was spending a great deal of time, pretty much any spare moment I could take advantage of, to read anything and everything that had to do with spirituality and philosophy. The more I would understand and the more my mind and spirit would open, the more I began to truly grasp what mattered most to me in my life. Although I still did and still do appreciate the finer things in life, they moved down in position of priority, and I found myself seeking greater balance. The 1.5 hour commute each way to work and back in bumper-to-bumper traffic began to wear on me. I loved my job, however, I felt compelled to listen to my spirit, which was calling me to make a major paradigm shift in my life. Fortunately, Lee and I had come to a place spiritually where we were on the same page and ready to make the shift together. We had both grown up in San Diego, but we were ready for anything. When discussing our options, Lee and I decided that we wanted to find a place to go into business together and become self-employed. We both wanted and needed a creative outlet, and this would be a requirement. As we discussed the idea, we put together a criteria list which included being able to work from home, providing a service to people, having time to further pursue our spiritual studies, to be near nature and scenery, etc. We had only been seriously discussing this for a few weeks to a month when our dear friend Becky called us to tell us about a town in Arkansas Ozarks called Eureka Springs. She worked with a woman who had lived there earlier in life and who is now retiring and returning there. Upon researching the town online, we both fell in love with it and began looking into businesses that they had for sale in the town. Lee and I, even though we are children of the 60s, born in the 60s, have an affinity for anything to do with the 50s era. When we found a 1950s motor court inn for sale, we became extremely excited. We contacted a realtor via phone and began corresponding about this and a couple of other inns for sale in Eureka Springs. When considering our options, the 1950s inn seemed to hold us captive. Lee was able to make a trip out during the Christmas holiday, but I was unable to take the time off needed to make the trip out to visit and see the property. However, I let Lee know that I trusted his judgment and his opinion. While Lee visited Eureka Springs, I worked on the business plan to present to the bank in our effort to make this new dream come true. Lee and I, in our excitement-filled discussions, had decided we would not only purchase the inn, but honor the retro feeling of the place with a 1950s themed office, and we'd decorate each of the rooms with its own theme as well. We found ourselves envisioning the dream without great concern for the details needed to make it happen, such as needing to sell our home, give notice at our places of employment, set up the move of our furniture and possessions across country, etc. We somehow knew that this was a needed adventure on our path of spiritual development and growth, and that the universe would provide. Once we determined and negotiated a fair market price for the purchase of the inn, which was contingent on the sale of our home, we submitted the business plan to the bank. We then purchased a couple of for sale signs and had an open house, with only 2 signs up, one at the end of the street and one in our yard, each with balloons tied to them, and with one open house, we sold the house. Of course, the sale of the house was contingent upon approval for a loan to purchase the business in Eureka Springs. The loan, as you probably guessed, was approved without a hitch. The inn property also included a house which afforded us the luxury of a 30-foot commute, being able to work from home, providing a service to people, and time to further pursue our spiritual studies. Being in Eureka Springs and in the Ozarks also blessed us to be near nature and scenery. The universe definitely provided. As I mentioned previously, in regard to the first house we had purchased, we desired and obtained a yard in which we could entertain. Prior to moving to Eureka Springs, while living in this house, we hosted annual Halloween parties, asking donations for the homeless as admission for entry. After moving to Eureka Springs, and while exploring our creative energy in theming the inn and the rooms, our passion and our desire to continue with our Halloween tradition remained and grew. Lee and I both have always had a great love for Halloween. The Disneyland Haunted Mansion had been an all-time favorite for both of us since early childhood. We had always discussed and dreamed of constructing a professional haunted attraction. As a matter of fact, Becky, the friend who had shared Eureka Springs with us, spent many hours on Sundays visiting and dreaming this dream with us, and discussing the possibilities in our new hometown, a tourist vacation destination. Lee and I decided, why not? We put together a business plan and presented it to the bank, expecting the bank to deny the loan for the first time since we had just obtained a business loan for the purchase of the inn. Guess what happened? The bank approved the loan. Within our first year in our new location, we were operating 2 businesses. We began the haunted attraction business by initially leasing space in which to operate. We would begin construction and setup of the attraction in the middle to late August each year, and we would disassemble the complete operation after Halloween, putting everything into storage for the next year. Each year we would seek out a new location and begin the process all over again. We longed and dreamed for the day we would be able to purchase a property to permanently set up and grow the haunted attraction business. Well, you guessed it, the day came. After 4 years of moving the haunted attraction business and growing it each year, we had come to the place with the inn that our ability to apply our creative energy there had been satisfied. All the rooms were themed in various decor, with the themes including a tiki room, a safari room, a Houdini Victorian magic room, a 50s room, and a number of other fun themes. We made many new friends who had become regular guests of the inn, and we had created incredible memories for both ourselves and for our guests. But the urge to move on won out. We decided to sell the inn and invest in a permanent property for the haunted attraction business. With the real estate market crashing and stories we were hearing of the properties not selling, I must admit that our faith was put to the test. We began to look at properties for a permanent location for the haunted attraction business anyway. After all, how can we visualize what we want to see manifest if we sit on our laurels and allow ourselves to flounder in worry and inactivity, right? As you can probably already guess, the right buyer came along, we sold the inn, and we purchased a permanent property for the haunted attraction business. Not only that, but we now have 2 haunted attractions on the property. And this leads me to share another story of the law of attraction and manifesting, as well as synchronicity. In 2009, we decided we needed a new grand-scale facade for the main attraction, Raycliffe Manor. We wanted something on the level that you would see in a major amusement park or at Disneyland. Lee and I began discussing the concept, and once we decided upon the look and feel that we desired, we found and printed inspiration pictures for our vision board. We found one picture in particular of a Victorian-themed attraction located in Bayville, New York, that closely provided the look and feel that we were after. Of course, ours would be unique and different than the one in the inspiration picture. Then we began our search for a contractor to help us manifest the vision. Lee and I both sought out local contractors first to provide us with bids on the facade project. Although the bids varied significantly, they did have one thing in common. They were all extremely high. We had a budget, and one we believed to be a good one for the project, but we were finding that due to the uniqueness of our project, contract bids were much greater than our budget. Because we now had solid experience in manifesting and our faith in the law of attraction had become strong, we did not give up hope. We knew the universe had given us the vision, and we knew it was already conspiring to provide us with the fulfillment of the vision. As we've come to expect, it came from an unexpected place. While visiting with our friend Ree and discussing our vision for the facade, she became excited and told us she had an acquaintance that had a business building facades for amusement parks and for miniature golf courses. She called him and left a message asking him to give us a call. Within a week, he called and scheduled an appointment to meet with us at our house to discuss the project. We placed our vision board on the dining room table for the meeting so that we could show him the inspiration pictures and especially the main picture of the attraction facade in New York. When he walked in the door, and we all began to walk toward the dining room table, he said, "Where did you get that picture in the middle of your picture board?" "I built that facade." Needless to say, we immediately recognized the coincidence, or synchronicity, as spirit once again moving in our lives. Thank you again for joining me for the continued reading of The Puzzle, A Gift from Spirit with Kelly Allen. And this concludes the reading of the chapter, Synchronicity and the Law of Attraction. I hope you'll join me next time, and I really, really hope you're enjoying listening and maybe even downloading and reading the book yourself. Thanks again. Here we found the work on a project in New York that became the primary image used for our vision board, and we found the contractor minutes away from us in Arkansas. Not only that, he was between projects at his business, and he was so excited about being able to work on our project to keep his staff busy that he bid the project for half of what he would normally charge. And guess what that bid matched? You guessed it, our budget.